I'm Kush Desai, and it's a pleasure to be here with you. I'm here with my good friend and partner in crime in the Venus Edge, Tony Gasparis, and we're on to the good stuff. We're going to talk about how to live life well, at least to the extent we can in this pandemic. And today we're going to talk a little bit about cocktails, and I'm going to show you how to make my favorite cocktail, but a bit of history first. The origins of the cocktail are a little bit shrouded in mystery. They think that the first cocktails may have come around in the 1850s, and I'm going to talk about the cocktail we're going to make today, which is the Sazerac cocktail. And there are a couple legends around it. I'll tell you at least one of them, which is that in about 1850, there was a coffee house in New Orleans that the owner then sold to go on and sell liquor. And once he started selling brandy, specifically a brandy called Sazerac, the new owner decided to try and make a cocktail out of it. And in fact, he served it in an egg cup called a coquetier, which was then changed by Americans into cocktail. So some people think that's how the actual term cocktail came about. This cocktail, the Sazerac cocktail, is the classic and official cocktail of New Orleans. And in the 1800s and early 1900s, it was actually made primarily with brandy, or really cognac. There was then a pandemic of grapes, phylloxera pandemic, that wiped out the European grape crop, and it was then substituted with rye whiskey. But I'm going to put a little bit of a twist on it today. So let's go over our ingredients. You're going to need, for my version of it, rye whiskey. Any will do. I have Sazerac rye whiskey here. You're going to need a brandy, a cognac, or an Armagnac. I love Armagnacs. I think they're a little bit more flavor, but cognac will do just fine. This is an Armagnac, a Boss Armagnac. You're going to need to rinse your glass with absinthe, and we'll talk about what that means. You're going to need bitters. Now, the classic bitters are from New Orleans, which is Peychaud's bitters, but you can use any bitters. Angostura bitters are just fine. Simple syrup, I have some right here. And then you're going to, for your tools, you'll need a shot glass. You'll need a strainer. You'll need a mixing glass, a bar spoon, and then finally, a little lemon peel. And it's easy to find this recipe, and we'll add it to the very end of this page of the Venus Edge. So the first thing we're going to do is start adding our ingredients. And the first thing we'll do is add some bitters. So Tony, grab your bitters bottle, add it to your glass, or your mixing glass, or your cocktail shaker, and just add a generous helping. And there really is no amount here. This is just seasoning, like salt and pepper. So I add a decent amount there, and whatever I think I'm going to need. The next thing,
keep it slow on me, Kush, okay?
Yeah, okay.
I'm doing this one, all right?
I'll slow it down. So you added the bitters here. All right. The next thing we're going to do, rye whiskey. And traditionally, the recipe calls for basically 2 ounces of of rye whiskey, but we're going to mix it up. We're going to do just 1 ounce of this to start. Go ahead, measure out 1 ounce. Now, one of the tricks of a great cocktail that you can reproduce is actually using a kitchen scale. I know that sounds really geeky and dorky, but I've started using that, and my cocktails are incredibly consistent. So I have a kitchen scale. It's 30 grams is about 1 ounce, and I'll add that to my glass. The next thing I'm going to add is exactly 1 ounce, or 30 grams of cognac or Armagnac. Add that in.
So I got Hardy here. Is that okay?
Hardy is perfect. It's actually one of my favorite cognacs. It's an independent house, unlike a lot of the other famous cognacs like Louis and Remy Martin. Those are all a part of major conglomerates. Hardy's actually owned by the family itself, so that's always good to support a family. Okay, so now we got in this mixing glass, we have the rye whiskey, 1 ounce, and 1 ounce of the cognac. And then the last thing we're going to do is add a 1/4 ounce or 7.5 milliliters of your simple syrup. So measure out a 1/4 ounce. Doesn't have to be exact. Okay. And add that to the glass. Okay. So while we're going to do that, and you just kind of let it sitting in your glass.
I like it sweet, so I'm going to put a little bit more.
A little bit more. After all, you're the one drinking it. You have to like take your glass that's been chilled here, and what I do is mine just has a little bit of ice in it. You can pull it out of your freezer. Take your absinthe, put it in your glass. The glass you're going to serve it in. Just put a little bit. You don't have to measure it. Okay. Then you swish it around, and you turn it, coat the sides of the glass, just like this. okay? And then you dump it out, all right? You can dump it out somewhere, wherever you want. Okay, so I dumped it out right there. Now we go back to our cocktail shaker, take your bar spoon, 30 seconds. Now it's important to stir because that actually not only cools down the liquid, but it adds water content, which then dilutes it and gets it to the right taste. So just while we're doing that, that's about 30 seconds right there. Okay. We then take the top of your cocktail shaker or a strainer. I'm going to add a strainer to this and then just pour it directly into the glass that you just rinsed. Get it all in there. And now we're going to do the last part. We're going to get to that lemon peel. You have your lemon peel here. Take the pith side down, the white side down, and you just squeeze it over your glass. Squeeze the peel, twist, wipe it around the edges. And then you don't put that into your glass. In New Orleans, they actually throw this away. A lot of bars will actually throw it in the glass. We're going to do it the traditional way and throw it away. And there you have it. Salud.
Cheers, my friend.
Cheers.
Very good.
Yeah. A little bit of licorice, which is from the absinthe. You have the lemon, and then you have a little bit of the spice from the rye whiskey, and then the nice even flavor of your cognac or your brandy or your Armagnac.
I think I'm going to add this to my favorite list of drinks.
I taught Tony how to make an old fashioned, I believe, at least my way. So we'll have to add that to the list. So great to see everyone, at least virtually. We look forward to seeing you hopefully in person in 2021. Take care.
Enjoy.